It's a great day to communicate.
Yes, it is.
All right.
I'm Professor A. Todd.
And I'm Sarah, and let's get personal.
Let's get personal, absolutely. Okay. So this is our third?
Yes.
This is our third episode of Positive Identity. Are you sure third?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
3.
No. This is the continuation from the previous page.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Okay, so this is our third episode of Positive Identity, and we are going to talk about, I think it's the fourth.
Mm-mm.
1, 2, 1,
1,
2,
2, 3.
All right, there you go. We only filmed 2 today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which are the 2, but we already filmed 1 Positive Identity, so we've done 2. This might be 4.
Something.
It's the final episode of this series, at least at this moment. Whether it's episode 3 or 4, we'll figure that out later, or probably edit this out.
It's fine.
Okay, so we want to talk about some other ways to increase and to move toward positive identity.
Mm-hmm.
I love this first idea in this episode, and it's to keep a journal or a diary, or frankly just to write a letter.
Okay.
So many times people have problems or situations or drama in their life, and they just carry it around, and it's a huge burden that they think about it all the time. They lose sleep, and you can't really deal with it because you're just carrying this horrible burden around. Well, there's a really simple answer to this. Either write a letter to someone or just write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggest write it down on the computer, so you can type it up and everything. And then what happens is this burden that you've been carrying in your brain and on your body is now in this document. So there's something psychological about that basically says, I don't have to remember all these details because this document is remembering it for me.
Oh, okay.
And another benefit of that is you can go back to that document a day or 2 later when your emotions are different, things are calmed down a little bit, and you can edit. Okay? Here's an example. I got divorced about 10 years ago. I think it's been 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And it was nasty. It was nasty, and there were some nasty things that were said and done and everything. And I was angry and kind of, admittedly, a little bit vindictive.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted my kids to know what was going on and what their mother had said and things that she had done and said. Okay, so I started writing them a letter for them to read when they're about 25 years old, when they're adults and everything. So I started this letter, as you can imagine. I was angry and I cussed and I said all sorts of things, everything. Well, I've gone back to that document probably 100 times in the last 10 years and edited things out and changed things and added things and everything. And now it's a pretty calm document that basically says, here's what's happened, here's why it happened, here's why your parents aren't married.
Okay.
Here are some warnings for you when you're in your relationship. Make sure that you are considering these items before you actually get into a relationship, and don't jump into a relationship in a few weeks like your mother and I did. Okay?
Right, but it's a good way to recall back to your past self, and you could be like, oh my gosh, why was I ever so obsessed with, John, because he ended up being, a loner and a cheater and a horrible person,
Mm-hmm.
and yet I'm just writing out like, John's the best, John, heart, and so it's a great way to get your emotions out, but then recall back to it and be like, gosh, that was silly.
Yeah, and you may not ever do anything with the document. If
Right.
it's a letter, you may not ever send it. You may not ever do it. It may never happen, but that's really not the point at the time, but it's just that there's something psychological in us that urges us on to hold on to this drama and the details, and you hash it over in your mind over and over again. It just causes stress, loss of sleep, and the negatives. But if you can write it down and type it up and get rid of it, or at least put it somewhere else, that helps so much. That helps so much.
I once had a friend who went through a really bad breakup, and I told them, I'm going to try to keep this as gender anonymous as possible.
Okay.
I told them to write a letter explaining every argument, every disagreement, every fault, every missed call in like a 2-3 year relationship. Write it out and then bring it to me. and we'll talk about it. And what we did is we went in my backyard and burned it. And as it just the smoke went up, and I just saw like this burden just kind of go up over her shoulders. I mean, she had saved it on her computer so she could do the whole reflecting, but in the moment, watching it incinerate and watching all that just go up with the smoke, it almost looked like it took 5 years off of her.
Yeah, it's different for everybody, but don't carry burdens around.
Right.
And there's something to be said, whether it be a situation or just general life. Journaling, writing things down, writing down your feelings is very healthy. It's very healthy to do because it helps you to define and redefine what you think, feel, and want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay. All right. Next, another way to increase your positive identity is to have a sense of humor. Okay. No one is normal. None of us are.
I'll see myself.
None of us are normal. We're all quirky. We're all ridiculous. We all say things. We all do dorky little things. We all have our little quirks about us. And it's funny. I asked my students, does anybody think they're normal? And nobody raises their hand. And we do a thing with our music. I said, does anybody claim to have a normal taste in music? And literally in the last 5 or 6 years that I've been asking that question, I've had one student say, my taste in music is normal. And I said, what is your music? And he started describing, kind of mainstream stuff and everything. Mm-hmm. It was like, no, that's not normal. We don't listen to that at all. Most students are like, I don't listen to that at all. So there's really no such thing as that. But have a sense of humor, accept your silliness. Sometimes it's just a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And just kind of dorky little things. One of the things that I do, as far as I know, I've done this since I was a child. I don't know why or where it came from, but like if I'm walking in my house, I need to go into a door and turn the corner. I rub my shoulder on the wall, and it helps me turn. I don't know how to explain that. It's ridiculous. So my kids are like, Dad, why are you running into the wall? I'm like, I do that on purpose. Though I don't even think I consciously do that anymore. I don't think I consciously do it. I do it because it helps me turn into the next room. So obviously that's crazy and ridiculous and not very normal. But have a sense of humor. Don't be afraid to make fun of yourself a little bit. Not in a negative way, cutting yourself down, but just to be able to don't take yourself too seriously. We're all goofy and we all have funny things about us and everything. And just, that's just part of the fun of life. It's just have a sense of humor, and sometimes things get far too serious, and it's good to just kind of chill and relax and enjoy things, right?
So if you feel like I'm someone who's like, oh, I don't have a sense of humor, I can't be silly and goofy, then maybe you could look into your favorite stand-up comedian, or if you don't have one, just look into something, a funny movie, a funny book, absolutely, a funny audio book, or something to really trigger that laugh, that laugh and that giggle out of you.
I think when people are in my coaching, or sometimes students will come to talk to me and everything, someone is very depressed, they are not feeling good about themselves, something bad has happened, I tell them, go watch a funny movie. Go get on a TV show, watch a TV show that's super funny. Mm-hmm. And you need to laugh and you need to bring positivity into your life. And I discourage them from listening to music that is negative or angry, watching movies that have bad endings or sad endings or something like that. We have the ability as humans often to choose our emotions. And the only thing that causes an emotion are thoughts. I can't make somebody else feel something, and that some members of my family and former family did not agree with that, and they do not care for that statement. But I stand by that, and that's in a lot of textbooks. The only thing that causes an emotion is a thought. So you make me so mad is not a true statement. I can't make you mad. Maybe your interpretations, which are thoughts, of my behavior or my words causes you to have an interpretation of your interpretation of that is negative, which causes anger or another emotion. Okay. But I cannot give you that emotion. You can only give yourself the emotion. Okay. So that being said, why don't we invite positive emotions into our lives? I'm a little bit of a fanatic. Can we talk about my music?
No, we talked about your Christmas music obsession.
I love
but
Christmas.
not-
I love Christmas music because it's happy. It's happy and it's positive and it's fun. I don't listen to Adele, for example.
Oh,
She's phenomenal. Her
She
voice is amazing,
is.
so incredibly talented. But all her songs are sad songs. Maybe not all, but almost all. They're breakup songs and everything. And I don't need that. I don't seek for that. I love Disney because Disney movies end happily ever after, right? And I kind of like in movies and entertainment and TV and plays and musicals and everything, I like a happy ending. And to me, it's the most logical thing in the world. Like, not everybody agrees with me, but I would suggest that we all invite, whatever this means to you, invite positivity into your life, whether it be media, entertainment, interaction, thoughts. Invite positivity into your life and slowly move away from the negative. Okay? That's where I am. And maybe that's Pollyanna of me, but...
And I'm very opposite of that. My music interests are very dark.
I know you say that all the time. I still can't see that in you. I've known you for more than 10 years.
I know, but the thing is that it sparks memories. It sparks, it sparks joyous. I could hear a song in the car and remember standing outside of our local theater waiting to see my very first rock show, and how much energy there was and how much excitement there was. And there's just something about that. It's a very specific genre of very angry music.
Oh, see, I understand excitement and I understand even though I'm not into it, I understand like music that gets you hyped and people listen to heavy metal when they work out and everything. I kind of get that because in my mind, even though that's not my music, that's a positive. But angry and downer
because
and screaming.
Sometimes you can't yell at the person you want to yell at, so you can scream with the artist.
Okay.
I don't expect you to understand.
I don't.
But
I'm okay with it, but I don't understand.
You can have darker music that does make you happy. I do say I'm the exception. I am not in the norm in any way, shape, or form.
That makes two of us. But I don't know. I humor, positivity, happy endings. Okay, this is ridiculous. I have a happy playlist. I have several playlists, but one of my playlists is called Happy. And I have happy songs on there. And
does it have happy?
It does have happy. Yeah, it does have happy on it. It has "Come On Get Happy" by the Partridge Family.
Oh my!
It has "Can't Stop the Feeling," Justin Timberlake.
Okay, so it's like dancey. It's poppy.
But I will maintain this for my entire life, and this shows you that I'm a nerd. The happiest song ever written, in my opinion, was "The Lonely Goat Herd" on The Sound of Music, the Puppet Show, the Puppet song. And I just think that is the happiest song. I mean, not that I realize lots of people aren't going to watch that, but I think that is the happiest song ever created, ever on the whole planet. And I love that. Another song, Annie, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. I love that whole feeling of recuperating and being reborn, and that whole like, tomorrow's going to be better. Things are going to work out.
Oh, optimism.
Optimism. Another play that I just love was called Bright Star.
Oh yeah, we just had a local production.
Yeah, we watched it, and we saw it on Broadway too. And it is there's a song called "The Sun Is Going to Shine Again."
Okay.
And I just love that kind of optimism and positivity and celebration. I love celebration, and I love positivity and enjoyment and laughter and happiness and unicorns and bunnies.
Interesting. But so there's a lot of different ways to invite happiness and
Absolutely.
humor and joy and whatever that means for you.
Yes.
Invite that in, but also don't feel guilty about it. If you are someone who absolutely loves, 90s hardcore gangster rap, then by all means, honey, do it. Snoop Dogg all the way. You know, so whatever that is with you, and again, I'll do the disclaimer that I did before, as long as you're not hurting yourself, other people, or animals,
Yeah.
enjoy.
Absolutely. She's so right. I mean, you are so right that having this is so individual, and we all kind of view these things differently, and we experience them differently, and happiness and positive emotion mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Right.
Absolutely. But have a sense of humor is the beginning of it, but really inviting positive emotions or emotions that feel good, satisfied, celebrate, etc.
Right.
That's that. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else on that one?
No, we'll probably have an episode just comparing and contrasting.
Happy.
If you want to see like something that compare and contrast on that,
Right.
let us know.
I'm always usually in bright colors.
Yeah,
She
no.
often wears black.
No. Unless it's Hufflepuff. That is the only exception to the rule.
That's fine. All right. Well, good. Anyway, good. Where are we on time?
We're good.
Okay. Next, and this is one of the final ones. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. We are human. Did we talk about that stupid thing we did that one time?
Yes.
We did, and somehow
Yes.
we've kind of
Ooh.
determined that we were okay with that. Take risks in life. We've already kind of covered so many aspects of this one. Take risks in life. If you're in school and you see somebody that you like, whether it be like a possible somebody you might want to take on a date, or even just somebody you might want to be friends with, go sit by them. Go sit by them and just kind of see what happens. You know, go sit by them and have a conversation. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to risk in life. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there to kind of take a chance. You know, don't be afraid to take a chance or to make mistakes. Okay, that's going to happen, and sometimes you just have to go for it.
Right.
You know,
And,
you just have to go for
you
it.
know, sometimes you could take a chance and it works out in the best. And you end up finding something that you never even would have dreamed possible, but it's because you just took that like
Yep.
first step,
Yep.
and then the next step,
Yep.
and then the next step. So, but the reason why you shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes, because mistakes is what you learn from. It's like, you know, when you're raising a kid and they go and they touch the hot stove and they burn,
Yeah.
but if you smack their hand before
Right.
they touch it,
Right.
they don't know that the stove is hot.
Right. Right.
So, you know, I mean, that's very like simplistic explanation of it, but it does work in all different aspects.
Absolutely. So those are the top six. Those are the 16 different ways of increasing and improving positive identity.
And then
I do want to say.
let's wrap it.
Okay.
So that way, this next episode, we're going to wrap up this page of self-esteem, and we're going to give some other examples and exercises to kind of help you along the way.
Okay. So finally, we are talking about this now and then wrapping it up.
No, let's wrap and then we'll start next week.
Okay.
with that one.
All right. So that's it.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.